Hello guys, how's it going? It's your boy Nick Savoy, and today we are going to be doing a mock draft using Fantasy Football Calculator. Fantasy Football Calculator is cool because it's a little more realistic. It's a live draft against other people, so for example, you can see kind of what other people are drafting. Fantasy Pros has a mock draft, but you're just drafting against the computer, so it's the exact same rankings every single time. So that's one thing that I like about Fantasy Football Calculator. You can also do the Yahoo and the ESPN mock draft when it gets earlier in the season, and that's live, and a lot of people participate. It's very important to do mock drafts because it really doesn't take that much time, and your draft can literally make or break your season. A couple seasons ago, I had a bad draft, and it wasn't even fun anymore. I didn't even try. I was like, okay, whatever. So a good draft can solidify your team, and it feels good when you make a smart, strategic decision, and, it pays off. So we're going to take a second and we're going to talk about some players to target and where. So the first player that we're going to target is Melvin Gordon in the second round. Anytime I can get Melvin Gordon in the second round, I'm a happy camper. Last season, he brought in about 20 fantasy points a game very consistently. He really only had 2 or 3 games where he was a little bit in a slump, and it's awesome, maybe if you can get a workhorse superstar running back 1 in the first round, and then you get Melvin Gordon in the second, and then you have Melvin Gordon as your running back 2. I mean, that is a very good team. That's a championship team in terms of running backs. Okay, so the next player that I want to mention is Michael Crabtree. Michael Crabtree was traded to the Baltimore Ravens, and really they don't have really any other wide receivers. And so basically it's his wide receiver. He's not shadowed by Amari Cooper in Oakland anymore. It's him, and he's so athletic. He catches so many touchdowns. So we're going to go for Michael Crabtree in the 6th round as our 3rd wide receiver. I also want to take a second and mention Deshaun Watson in the 5th round. Deshaun Watson was a fantasy superstar. I'm sure you guys already know it. And most of the time he doesn't fall to the 5th round, but really that's the only time that I ever would take Deshaun Watson, because I'm an advocate for not taking a quarterback early, because drafts, there's 32 starting quarterbacks. Okay, there's 12 teams in the league. There's very ample quarterback supply. The amount of points really don't deviate that much than the superstars, and the 1st round through 6th round, those picks are so valuable in terms of filling in your other skill positions that I always take a quarterback late. It's a really intelligent thing to do. Okay, so let's talk about Chris Carson. Ever since Beast Mode left, the Seattle backfield has been a tad clustery. However, Chris Carson, I think, is going to be the every down back. And one thing I've noticed is that he's going very late in drafts. So what you could do is you could make sure and get 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds. And then you could take Chris Carson. So you would have 2 running backs, and then you would have a number 1 running back as a backup on your bench. That's building depth. That's being very smart. Lamar Miller is also going a little bit before Chris Carson. I also want to mention him. He's going very late, but he gets quite a bit of volume. Okay, so in the 10th round, I want to advocate for taking 1 defense early. Let me see how much time we have before the draft. Okay, we still got a minute. Okay, I want to advocate for taking the Jacksonville defense earlier than you would normally take a defense, because they're superstars. I had them last year. There was a Thursday where they got 40 points on Thursday Night Football and literally basically won me my week right off the bat. However, I just want to be clear. Any other defense I would not take early. I would take late. However, it is good maybe in the 12th or the 13th to make sure that you get a Minnesota, a Denver, a Baltimore defense. And to be honest, hypothetically, if your team is all stacked, I wouldn't mind taking a second defense because fantasy football is about equity. It's about equity. So if you take two superstar defenses, it's valuable. And I'm only telling you to take a second defense if all your positions are covered. But this equity will allow you to possibly trade, have more, leverage later in the season. And then another player I want to mention to target is Tyler Eifert as your second tight end, not your first. So you get Tyler Eifert after you get a solid first tight end because he's always injured. However, he has shown top 3, top 4 potential 2 seasons ago. He was like a top 3 or top 4 tight end. And I think that would be good to have an upside tight end. If he pops off, then boom, you got a superstar tight end late in the draft just because you made an intelligent, strategic decision. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, wow. That could not have been any more perfect timing. Okay. So let's take a look at who is available. Let's see what wide receivers. Oh, yeah, OBJ. You know what? I could take OBJ here, but he's had some off the field issues. To be honest, he's kind of risky. They don't use him the right way. I'm going to take Kareem Hunt. Oh, no, I'm not. Are you kidding me? Wow, David Johnson fell this far? Wow, that's a great start to a draft that David Johnson's available. In my opinion, the top 3 running backs are Bell, Johnson, and Zeke. But really, Bell and Johnson are really in their own mini tier. So, okay. Ooh, this window is not really helping me. Okay. So I'm sure that you guys are already aware of this, whoops, one moment, it's my pick. Okay. So there's a couple workhorse running backs around. Really, these 3 running backs are really in their own tier. I'm not really in love with any of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey, I'm going to take Lesean Mccoy because he's more of a running back one. They absolutely feed Lesean McCoy. And Tyler Taylor left. There's going to be a new quarterback situation. I don't see them with the new quarterback situation relying on the pass as much. So I'm going to take Lesean McCoy. Boom. Got 2 workhorse running backs. Set it and forget it. Don't have to scrap for running backs off of the waiver wire. Oh, somebody had a good week in week 9. Pick him up. Oh, It's awful. Got 2 good running backs. Boom. Solid. Don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. Okay. Saquon Barkley's still available, but whatever. Jerick McKinnon. I want to look at Jerick McKinnon. He's way down here. Some person might actually take him. Like, people have been taking him higher than the computer. He's been going low in terms of the computer because he went to San Francisco and they're paying Jerick McKinnon $7.5 million a year, so they're investing in him. And I think he's going to be a third down Carlos Hyde back. A workhorse, all down, versatile back. Okay, Adam Thielen is in his own lane. There's an argument that he can be a wide receiver 1. I'm going to take him. Cousins went to Minnesota, and I think that Diggs and Thielen are going to have a very good season as well as Cousins. So I got the 8th draft position, which I'm very happy with. If I had a choice in terms of draft position, I would prefer the 8th or the 9th because you get, like, maybe in the first round you get a Kareem Hunt and then maybe you get like a superstar wide receiver at the beginning of the second where, like, in terms of the first round, if you have the first pick, sure, you get Bell. He's amazing. But then you have to wait for pick 20 or 22. You get Tyreek Hill and Doug Baldwin. And I would rather have Kareem Hunt and Julio Jones than Le'Veon Bell and, like, Tyreek Hill. So I am really happy that I got the 8th and the 9th pick. I think that that's a huge advantage. Okay, so I have 2 running backs. I need some wide receivers. I think there could be a point that I could build some depth at running back. Really, right here is a big cutoff. So I'm going to hope that Kenyon Drake, McKinnon's gone. Okay, I'm going to maybe rely on Chris Carson as a little bit of a safety blanket. Okay. Larry Fitzgerald or Alshon Jeffery? You know what? Larry Fitzgerald's a little old. My gut right now is telling me, no, they feed Larry Fitzgerald. I'll take Larry Fitzgerald. You can't really go wrong with either. Both of them are really good. If I had to say the worst draft position would be 6 because you get middle of the pack players. So that would probably be my least favorable draft position. Okay. Oh, sweet. Michael Crabtree's available. Yep. Okay. If Kenyon Drake still fell, I would consider him, but Kenyon Drake was like a poor man's Le'Veon Bell with the way they used him last year, and I mean that in a good way. However, Dion Lewis went to the Miami Dolphins, so I don't think it's going to be like the Kenyon Drake show there. So I'm going to take Michael Crabtree. We spoke about him earlier, and I was able to get Michael Crabtree as my third wide receiver, which is awesome. He's gotten over 100 targets in 4 of the last 5 seasons, and I can see him getting 130 to 160 targets as my wide receiver 3. So that is this is a really good team so far. Wow. Can this be my actual league this season? Still got a ways to go though. Still got to make some decisions. In terms of drafting, if you don't have research and you don't have like a setup, I'd really say go on your gut instinct. However, stuff does change so much from season to season. So really anybody who's a sure thing, you honestly never know. But a solid draft is a really big key to a really good season, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, so I do not have a flex at this point. I have 2 running backs. I have 3 wide receivers. And I wouldn't mind having a third running back that's a number 1 running back just to build some depth. Okay, this is an obvious choice. Pierre Garcon is on an island. Corey Davis is going to get fed. I wouldn't mind him as my flex, but Pierre Garcon is a step above it. He was injured when Jimmy Garoppolo was a starter because the last 4 or 5 games Jimmy Garoppolo popped off. It was Marquise Goodwin who played the Pierre Garcon role. However, I'm going to choose Pierre Garcon. He's a number 1 wide receiver, and I think he's going to get between 130 and 160 targets. Wonder if Evan Ingram's still around. Oh, okay. Yes, please, Evan Ingram, fall to me. Come on. Oh, he's gone. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I got to get Chris Carson. Yep. Okay. So right now, Chris Carson is on a big island. I'm set on wide receiver for now. I could get a star tight end, but Trey Burton, there's not much deviation between Kyle. They're in a little bit of a tier, but I need a third running back because this is the last number 1 running back in the entire league. And I really want to advocate where if you get in a position where there's like the last of something, but you're tempted by a better player, choose that there's a last of something, because especially running backs, because I've seen people draft 2 like mediocre running backs and then all the good running backs go. And that's anxiety that you have to deal with for the rest of the season. It's not a good situation. And I want to see you guys win your league, make money. And I also want to see you guys have pride. When you win your league and you're like, you know what I mean? It's an amazing feeling when you win a season-long league, because it's not like you played DraftKings for 1 week and you chose the right players. You worked on it. You grind at it. You read the waiver wire column. You worked the waiver wire. So it's chess. It really is. Fantasy's like chess. And if you're able to win a league, you're a very intelligent person, sincerely. Okay. So right now I have 3 running backs. I have 4 wide receivers. My tight end section is still... Oh, nice. Okay. I'm going to take Delanie Walker. If Delanie Walker wasn't available, I would take Trey Burton because he went to Chicago, and I have a feeling he was behind Zach Ertz, and he showed a lot of potential when Ertz was hurt. Chicago doesn't have many wide receivers. They only have Allen Robinson, but I'm going to take Delanie Walker because he's been consistent, and he's a tier 2 tight end. He really is. After the big 3 tight ends, he's down a tier, and that's a good tight end. Okay. So for the next round, I might maybe take a 5th wide receiver, or if Eifert's still available or Burton's still available, I might take a 2nd tight end. I don't need to worry. I'd say that I don't need to worry about defense yet. I don't think that the Jaguars gone. Okay. Yeah, the Jaguars haven't gone yet. So I think I could take an upside player right here, and I think that by the time it comes around, I think the Jaguars defense is gone. Gosh darn it. So they went in the 9th. Okay, so this is an example of a situation where I'm playing against realistic people who might have like man crushes on players. So it's good to do mock drafts before and study where certain positions are going as opposed to just listening to the ESPN experts ADP. Okay, I don't have very much time. I got to make a decision. Okay, tight end. Okay. I'm gonna take Nelson Aguilar. This was good for me because last season Nelson Aguilar was getting 10 or 11 targets on a regular basis in the Eagles offense, targets coming from Wentz. So I think that Nelson Aguilar, I should have had him on the bargains. I'm going to put him down low. I'm also going to mention Evan Ingram. 6. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a defense right now because I want a superstar defense. Denver defense is in their own tier. They're always good. They're a level above the LA Rams and Houston. So I'm going to take Denver. So because one thing that people don't do enough is they take a middle of the pack defense late, which is okay. But you start a defense every week. They bring you in points. So taking like a superstar defense in the 10th as opposed to like a 6 wide receiver, a 4th running back, like a second tight end, like they start. So they're very important. So, excuse me. Okie dokie. Okay. All right. I only have one tight end. I don't have a kicker. Let's see what quarterbacks I have. Okay. Really, these are all Case Keenum. Yeah, these are all. There's really nobody on an island here. Trash. I'm done with running backs. I've only taken 3. I'm set on wide receivers. Trey Burton's around. I have Delanie Walker at my tight end. He's solid. I'm going to take a quarterback. God, I wish Rivers was around. I'm going to take Alex Smith. Oh, you know what? I didn't make a choice in time and it auto-picked Derek Carr for me. But to be honest, I really can't complain about that. Okay, so right now we're in the 10th round, and I want to talk about Greg Zuerlein. Or pardon me, we're in the 12th round. I guarantee you that I did not spell that right, but I get a pass because his last name's weird. Okay, so we're in the 12th round. So once again, it's the same concept as a defense. You start a kicker every week. Greg Zuerlein is in his own superstar tier. He's the Le'Veon Bell of kickers. He was bringing in 20 points, like at times 24 points. So I think like here I could take a second tight end with upside, but I start a kicker, so I need a kicker. I'm getting Le'Veon Bell. Boom. Maybe Trey Burton will still be around okay. All right, so while this goes, I'm don't have very much time. Now we're at the point in the draft where we can get a second tight end, a second quarterback, or just try to find a player with upside on the off chance that they pop off. I usually pick 2 quarterbacks, which really isn't necessary, but I get anxiety and I like an insurance policy. But like I said, there's 12 teams in some leagues, maybe even 10 teams in 8-team league. There's 32 quarterbacks that start. The waiver wire's stacked, so getting 2 quarterbacks isn't that important. Okay. There's really no running backs with upside that I see that impress me. Oh, Deshaun Jackson is a good bargain. Allen Hurns, Ted Ginn, those are all good picks. Let me see who's around. Oh, Trey Burton's still around. Okay. This late, I'm going to build some depth at tight end. Trey Burton, I think, is a tier 3 tight end. If I have Delanie Walker and Trey Burton, I think that's a very good, solid tight end. So I'm going to take Trey Burton, and then maybe in the next round, I'm going to get Ginn or Jackson because they're really in the same tier. So yeah, quarterbacks are garbage. Come on, no Ginn. Let me get Ginn. Okay. Perfect. Ted Ginn is the second wide receiver in a Drew Brees offense. Drew Brees always gets points, always gets yards. Ted Ginn has big playability, so I'm going to take Ted Ginn, and I feel really good about getting Ted Ginn in the 14th round. Let's just say one of my wide receivers doesn't work out. I have a strong flex if the opportunity that he pops off. Okay, so we're starting to be in our last round, and once again, we're going to look for upside. I only have 3 running backs, but at this point, running backs have gone to just complete. Oh yeah. Oh, it's too bad. I'm gonna mention this. I just noticed this. Okay. Garbage. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Already have enough wide receivers, defense. Yep. Okay, so right here I can take a second quarterback or I can take a 4th running back. There was a period where Wayne Gulman was getting the most running back targets in the league last year on New York, and I know that Jonathan Stewart went there, but I'm just going to build some depth at running back, and to be honest, I don't really mind that I only have 1 quarterback. There's always mediocre quarterbacks on the waiver wire. I could not be any happier with this team. I wish, to be honest, I wish that this was like the movie Back to the Future Part 2, and I zap forward to my season league and this was my team, because I would be having parades if this was like my team. This is the best draft I've had, and I've done some mock drafts. They're maybe not the best, but this is probably the 2nd best draft I've ever had, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on the video. I'm being sincere. And I've done a lot of drafts because I have a passion for fantasy, you know. I dream about this, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's take a look at my team. One thing that sucks about Fantasy Football Calculator is they don't have it set up, so you kind of just have to go manually. Okay, so my running back 1 is David Johnson. That's fantastic. He's like on Le'Veon Bell's level. He's going to bring in points. My running back 2 is Lesean Mccoy. Now, this is very, very strong. The fact that I have a running back 2 that's going to get 25 to 30 touches a game and just get fed. He's a running back 1. He's somebody's main running back. So my running back 2 is very strong. My wide receiver 1, I don't have a superstar like Julio, A.J. Green, Mike Evans, Odell. But Adam Thielen he's a low-end wide receiver 1, and you know what? I can't complain. Larry Fitzgerald is about as solid as a wide receiver 2 as they come. He gets targets, they feed him, and I think that Larry Fitzgerald is a very good wide receiver 2. Michael Crabtree is a fantastic wide receiver 3. Pierre Garcon is a good flex because he's going to get targets as the number 1 wide receiver. Chris Carson, now this was good. This was good. And the reason why this is good is because I now have 2 workhorse running backs, and then I have a backup running back that is the number 1 running back in an offense in Seattle. So that's even fantastic. So I have depth. I have depth like the depth like the Titanic right now at running back, and I am a happy camper. Okay, I got Delanie Walker at tight end. I'm happy because he's a tier 2 tight end after the big 3. And when I say the big 3, I mean Ertz, Kelsey, and Gronk. And, okay, so this is fantastic. So my 5th wide receiver is Nelson Aguilar, who I believe I mentioned. Okay. As I was saying, he gets 10 or 11 targets and an amazing offense, and they have him as a backup wide receiver as depth. I have the Denver defense, who is consistently a very good defense. I think I'll be a happy camper. I have Derek Carr at quarterback, who's mediocre, but quarterback's not really that important to me. You know, I'm not going to take Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Brady early. So, you know, I'm going to end up with a Rivers, with a Derek Carr. Maybe if I get lucky, maybe I get like Kirk Cousins, but I would have to give up a pick. I got Greg Zuerlein, who is a superstar kicker. I got Trey Burton as my 2nd tight end. So my tight ends are Delanie Walker and Trey Burton, who's a really good prospect this year. So that is very, very strong. I have Ted Ginn Jr. as an upside wide receiver, you know, whatever. And I have Wayne Gallman as a running back. I think there was a period last year where he was getting like more running back targets out of the backfield than Bell, and this is a PPR league. So I wanna thank you guys. Excuse me. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'm going to come out with another video about some free agency moves and how some backfield changed. You know, Maybe like a player's a workhorse now that somebody got traded. Maybe a backfield to stay away from, players to avoid, players to target, and also a couple things that are going on is the draft is coming up, and the biggest player is Saquon Barkley. So what team he lands on really depends on whether he's going to be like a modern-day Ezekiel Elliott, where Ezekiel Elliott came out of Ohio State. He got drafted very, very high. And there's another rookie running back that I can't think of. Gosh, what is his name? God, that one guy. Sony Michael. Bingo. Okay. Sony Michael is another big factor because he has a lot of potential, and I'm not sure what team he's going to be on. So I'm going to come out with some players to take and players to avoid, and I just want to reiterate how important it is during the season to work the waiver wire. You should be listening to podcasts, like if you work at a computer job or like a labor job where they let you listen to music, listen to podcasts, what's going on, and, work the waiver wire. Do research. Don't just read the ESPN waiver wire article on Wednesday night and then put in your bids. It takes work to win a 12-team league, and it's an amazing feeling. So I am going to be coming out with a couple more videos. I want to thank you guys for watching. I love fantasy, and you guys obviously love fantasy too because you're watching these videos in April. The season doesn't start until like September. But, we bleed fantasy. And you know what? I think starting the second, I think I'm going to innovate a fantasy football dating website where like we find women that like fantasy, because I'm sure that would be anybody's dream. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are all in good fortune. I hope you guys have a nice night. I hope you guys are healthy. I hope you guys go out there, make some money, ask that girl out that you've been wanting to ask out, buy that item that you've been like, but it'll make me really happy. Peace out. Fantasy Beast Mode coming at you. Thank you for watching.